Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 216th edition of Cinema Effect, aka the 8th edition of Cinema Effect After Dark. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the amazing Spider-Man Defense Force, Jaden.
Howdy. Do you have like a running total of like After Dark episodes, or do you have to like go back and research every time how many we've done?
I've done that numerous times, so I eventually just committed to I actually just have a list in my phone now of all the After Dark episodes. Okay. Yeah, so I got obviously the number, and then everyone that wasn't After Dark, and it's been double checked. Like I've done it so many times, but yes, it's right. But the thing about After Dark is now I've always wanted to make it a thing, probably obnoxiously so. And now that the camera's on, it's like, oh, now it is a thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like it feels like After Dark has made it. You know, it's survived. It's a real thing. Should we flick the lights off then, change? You know? Flick the lights off. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I feel like you probably do need something else other than just like, oh yeah, wow, look, they're obviously recording at night. Neat. But yeah, so whether it's the lights off, whether it's, you know, we just get the cock out, whatever it is, you know, like whether, you know, maybe I don't know how we could possibly make the content of this show worse. Like, you know, something like that, you know, but maybe another time. This is step one. Step one, clearly recording at night.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. Jane, I just wanted to sort of take a minute at the top of the show for you to be able to... I can't even... God damn it, I'm so bad at doing shit straight, man. I wanted to give you a second at the top of the show, just take some time to address, you know, our... The ever-changing situation of the podcast and, you know, the man who used to be our third host.
Liam and I had a little tiff. He says that his absence this week is not influenced by that, but we believe otherwise.
Yeah, we do. Sorry, dude, I'm such a bad, like, just... Well, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I can't do anything straight when I'm, like, trying to be funny, you know?
You do things gay.
Well, yeah, probably, but, you know, I don't know. I can't not laugh. Whatever that is. I'm trying to... Anyway, whatever it is. We miss Fitzy. Fitzy, we want you back. Please come back. Please. We'll miss you this week. So now we have to do this Alien Romulus. Has he even seen it yet?
No.
Okay, all right. So we're going at it alone here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, anywhere else you get your podcasts. So go ahead and subscribe if you enjoy the show. This week, the movie we're reviewing is Alien Romulus, which opened in the US on August 16th, 2024. It was directed by Fede Alvarez. It is a sci-fi horror film. And the synopsis says, while scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonists come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. Jaden, walking out of this one, you know, we talked about a few different things. Not a lot, but I must say that I felt like I was getting good vibes from you. So what did you think of Alien Romulus?
Yeah, dude, I loved this shit so much. I think like the good vibes you're talking about are me like talking about how for like the last 15 minutes of this film, I said, you know, I was just smiling the entire time as the offspring just fucking comes out and just does his thing. The only other time like I've had such a physical reaction to like Alien sequels rather is in Covenant when David drops the fucking little things on the planet. Like that was another time where I was able like physically gave the film a response, you know, like so like this is very high kind of standard kind of thing I'm talking about feeling whatever but I love the rest of it as well. I think it was really brilliant from start to end in just about every aspect. I think Fede is a fantastic director who we've seen do great stuff quite a few times with original IPs and you know, kind of taken on classic ones like Evil Dead. So yeah, I don't know. This pretty much completely sells me on anything he can do in the future.
Have you seen his Don't Breathe films or what else?
Well, I've seen Don't Breathe, the one that he directed. I don't.
Oh, he didn't do the second one.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
And
didn't
then
know that.
I've seen his Evil Dead as well. And like, I'm not the biggest Evil Dead fan, but it's like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love Evil Dead, but like I can recognize, its value, and its kind of commitment to keeping up what the franchise has already done and kind of reinvigorating it, making it gorier, making it, everything it needs to be for the modern age. But I am just a bit of an Evil Dead hater, so it didn't work for me entirely. But yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, dude, this is a really solid movie. It's funny at the end there in that last 15 minutes when final boss human Xenomorph comes out, and I was like, first of all, I had a huge smile came across my face, and I looked over at you, and that smile was consistently on your face as well because I thought Jane's gonna love this. This movie exceeded my expectations for sure. Going in, I was expecting very much just another Alien movie. I wasn't that excited. I didn't watch any of the trailers or anything, but I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know. I think I'd seen an image and then heard, oh yeah, they're on another station. And there's a name Xenomorphs, and I'm like, all right. But walking out, it still was that in a lot of ways, but it also wasn't in some big ways as well. And I was pleasantly surprised by some of those things. It's the most well-made and precise feeling Alien movie since Ridley's original to me. So yeah, no, definitely a thumbs up. I don't think you could say that Fede let any Alien fans down here.
No, yeah, truly, yeah.
He did it justice.
It's certainly is everything that you're talking about in its kind of faith to Ridley's original, but like, I just think even beyond that, like, I was like, because Ridley's original was about kind of the silent stalker in space. So this kind of had to keep up with a bit more of the modern horror thing and kind of making it a bit more gory and a bit more bigger, a bit bigger, and kind of in like that. But it's his essence was still definitely in it.
Absolutely, yeah, It felt the most similar, which is kind of like to what I was saying. It's kind of what I was dreading, but it's not. But the result wasn't what I expected. It wasn't that though. It was like taking all the best parts of what makes Alien great and putting this sort of modern spin on it. And I suppose the first part of that modern spin on it that surprised me, like did you know coming in that it was going to be a younger cast of characters?
I knew that Cailee Spaeny was leading it, but that was and I knew that Isabella was in it as well, but like I didn't know anything else about the rest of them. Yeah.
That was the first thing that surprised me. Is that kind of what you meant? Like, is that a sign of how this film is sort of injecting that sort of new wave horror into it?
That's one of the elements, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. I mean, to me, that was a very pleasant surprise for me. I don't know, just it felt different immediately. I don't think. I mean, I know there's the kid in Aliens, which
Oh yeah,
snooze fest. But outside of that, this series sort of just deals with pretty similar feeling sort of scientist engineer-esque characters, of a certain age, and this has felt different. Just sort of everyday group of young people was right away when it became clear when they all sort of meet up for the first time. It became clear this is our crew. I was like, oh, dude, I like this already. And the fact they were on a mission that I could relate to. I wanted them to succeed and, get their better life, as opposed to these other films where I feel like, well, in the first one, they're just like attacked, I guess. Well, no, they go to this planet.
They respond to a distress signal.
That's right. And then I don't know, from there, it's kind of like similar stuff where they're on some expeditions or whatever. They're like exploring, discovering shit. I don't know. This one felt like the most where the characters were driving the plot forward. They have a goal. They seek out the danger in this one. They're like, if we go here, get the cryo chambers, we can get a better life for ourselves. Establish that from the get-go, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude.
No, I feel like I disagree with that point about characters driving the plot, especially with like Prometheus and Covenant is pretty much exclusively driven by the characters, and they like kind of like desire to find out and explore. Like it's a different desire. Yeah. Like it's not want to live.
Yeah.
It becomes want to live. But like.
As it always does, yeah.
Yeah. I think, 2, 3, and 4 became kind of about surviving and beating the aliens, that rock up. But then I think the prequels are definitely about a given, character driven stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I'll take the L on that aspect, but I won't take the L on the fact that this was way more interesting than those to me.
Sure.
Just being able to connect personally with them. Of like they want a better life. I can connect with that a lot better than like I can't even remember what they were doing.
Did God
It's
make
fine.
us? Is God real?
Yeah. No, just give me a better planet. You know what I mean? Get me a better. Let me see the sun. That's what I want to root for. So yeah, I guess from this cast of characters, I just got the IMDb up here because like I don't want to. I usually watch all their names and shit. But did Cailee Spaeny right off the bat? Did she do her job? Is she a Gen Z Ripley?
I mean, like, it's a great way to reduce the character.
Yeah,
that title.
I nailed that.
But yeah, like, she's definitely the most Ripley-like of kind of people that have come after Sigourney. And I think that's once again intentional in kind of recreating the feel. But I think I think it goes back to that thing about the driving factor rather than being survived and getting a better life is does distinguish her enough. And I think her performance is fantastic. And like, but I think like she is highly relatable to Alan Ripley because like I don't know, but like it's intentional stuff. I think her costume is meant to look similar. Her hair is meant to look similar at parts. Like it's all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, but then still, you don't really want to reduce her to the modern version of a character because it feels like so much more than that. And then like the character, like her performance, is so strong that you don't really want to just say, oh, it's a new version of this.
Yeah, no. But it kind of was though to me.
Yeah,
and I mean that in the best way.
Yeah.
Where it felt like I don't know how old Sigourney was in the first one, but I don't know. She definitely didn't feel this young. But nonetheless, sort of in those big action moments, she does sort of recapture that. I listened to an interview with Fede where he was talking about how he very deliberately, like, his direction in like the big action moments and with some of the one-liners and stuff towards the end was very much like I think he said, say it like Arnold would say it, or like say it like he very much wanted to ham up like the 80s action vibe in the line delivery. And that comes through, and in that respect, it does feel very much like a homage to like a Ripley character from Aliens. Probably more so that one in that particular example, but yeah, it was a very strong performance. But I guess I don't know, it was just cool. Like it was because she's obviously clearly a younger person, and I know I liked it. I felt like I just related it to it more than like going back and watching the first Alien, where like I don't know, Ripley's more like, even if she's like early 30s, I don't know how old she was, but like I don't know, she just felt that little distance away from me. You know what I mean? This felt a bit more relatable, so I like that. Cailee Spaeny, she just keeps popping up and everything for me. I feel like she won't leave me alone right now.
Yeah,
Have
she's
you
definitely
seen her
one
in
of those
stuff?
up and comers. I saw she was
Yeah.
in Bad Times at the El Royale. I think is the most recent thing I've seen.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think that's probably about all. But yeah, she's been in a ton of like good shit recently, and she's meant to be in the new like Knives Out as well. So like,
Oh, is she? I
yeah,
forgot about
she's
that.
got a big thing,
Oh.
coming up.
Yeah, she's emerging for sure. Or she's emerged, as you would say. Yes. Cool. Okay. Yeah, no, we're in agreement there. The rest of this cast, is there anyone that you particularly vibed with, or
I think
we'll go there first.
Yeah, like I think David Johnson was brilliant as Andy. Like really
Absolutely.
standout shit, man. Like I don't know if he's had other like acting credits to his name, how big he is, but like that feels like a big performance from a young guy, man.
100%. Yeah,
There's two
I think he's
versions of
pretty
an
good.
android, and like playing both of them so well, is really really spectacular thing, man.
He was my definitely the standout performance of the movie. And I like how it continues the trend of like the synthetic character being like the most interesting in a certain respect. Like he felt like he very much took the mantle from Fassbender in that sense, but obviously in a new way. But I like just spiritually in that sense, I like that. But yeah, it looks like he hasn't been in much. He's been in he was in that show Industry I've heard of, but outside of that, it seems like he's very much he's still emerging, this guy. But he's after this he's gonna have emerged though, Yeah, no, he was fantastic. When he goes into, I don't like. First of all, the decision to have him like sort of be represented as having a disability, I thought was really interesting.
Mm.
And tell me if I'm nuts, right? But as I saw this arc play out with him, where he's this malfunctioning synthetic who becomes more advanced when they put the chip in. First of all, when he goes into Wayland British Andy mode, that was sick. That was super convincing. Like when he switches to that, it was just a great choice. Super convincing performance. Love that. But then I don't know. I thought it was very interesting to have like malfunctioning regular Andy, obviously portrayed to have the equivalent of a disability. It's I don't know the way I read the whole thing. Tell me if you tell me if you didn't get this at all. But the way I read the whole thing was a little bit of commentary. Not maybe commentary might not even be the right word, but disability and this idea of it was playing with disability and maybe not having. If you have someone you love in your family who has a disability, and trying to represent that on screen in terms of because the whole thing is that Andy is essentially cured, right? I guess when they put the chip in him.
Oh, I mean, sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he functions better and all that, right?
Mm.
But he immediately sucks because he's not himself, and he immediately starts becoming a nuisance and all this kind of thing. Even though, like, he's good for the corporation and all that stuff. Even though I actually did. Did you believe him? Like, if he had opened the door for Isabella's character, oh god, I've got it right. What's that? Their names? Kay.
Yeah.
If he had opened the door for her, like, did you believe him that like they would have all died and that that was a fair thing to do? Yeah, I did as well. So it's not like he becomes an asshole, right? But it certainly changes that I don't think other Andy would have done that and they would all be dead for it. So like, that's its own thing. Sorry, that's a bit of a tangent. But nonetheless, he becomes not himself. It's not represented as a good thing in the film because they want to turn him back. And I think the real life parallel to that is sort of a reflection of knowing someone like that and not wanting them to be any other way, because it's kind of a genuine philosophical conversation to have if you could, hypothetical question that's much easier to ask to someone who, doesn't know someone with a disability that closely, where you could say, like, if you could snap your fingers and change someone to be normal, right? I put up quotation marks. Would you do that to someone in your life? And because, maybe you'd be giving them a better quality. You can make arguments, right? Maybe you'd be giving them a better quality of life, whatever that looks like for them. But I assume 99% of people would never want to do that. And if, in this case, if it's their brother, like in this film, they would never want to change their brother because regardless of the challenges, they are who they are. So all that is to say, I felt like Fede or the other screenwriter on this film, whoever it was, it very much came through on the screen to me personally, at least. Like, one of them has a sibling or relative with a disability, and they thought of this really cool way to have this positive representation of disability in the film. Of course, without it being a huge focus or anything, but it being able to integrate it quite seamlessly into this compelling plot point, where they have to play with the different Andys and stuff. I just thought it was that's how I viewed it. As soon as it was happening in the film, I'm like, I'm reading this as like there's something personal going on here in the story. I felt like. I'm glad that you're nodding and you don't think I'm insane. I thought there was a chance.
I like that reading very much.
Cool.
Yeah. I would snap my finger and change you in a second, though, mate. I just let you know.
Oh, I would too. Yeah. No doubt. No. So he was an awesome character. He was an awesome performance for sure. Then you've got the other character. So Isabella, oh my god, the character name, right? Kay and Tyler were siblings. Tyler's the other is British guy. Now Tyler has British accent. Kay has American accent.
Yeah, it's also a sci-fi film set in fucking 100 years in the future. I mean, like,
I suppose. Now, I don't want to sound like that was a complaint because, like, I thought Archie's British accent was pretty sick. I don't know, something about, I don't know how you'd describe it. They had, and obviously he's a mate. Bloody Spike was full bruv mode in this film. I don't know if you describe that as like a modern British accent, but that was, to me, that also was just another caveat or an extension of there being young people in this film. But that just literally those two characters walking around having that accent like injected life into the film for me, which sounds like a minor thing, but it really did. As opposed to, we're used to like either American characters or like upright British characters in this series,
Yeah.
So I liked that a lot. I did. I know. Oh, how do you say that? Do you say that name Bjorn?
Yeah.
I know he's meant to be an annoying character, but I wonder if that was a detriment to you, or if it was because more. You're more into like the horror tropes and stuff than me. Like, was it an effective portrayal of that kind of a character in a horror film, in your opinion?
Yeah, like knowing he's meant to be an annoyance, it was never too much, which is always a delicate kind of balancing act. And like knowing he's meant to hinder, the guys that you're actually supporting is, you always have to juggle a bit, and I think they do pretty successfully here, because I think you always understand, and like there's a bit of frustration that comes through, but like it's all, once again, like it's intentional frustration that just because you as the audience obviously knows better than he as a character existing in the moment. And that's kind of the fun that you need to play with and make sure they don't cross, and I think he's always kind of fun as that.
He was. He was. I definitely agree with that later. Like when it comes to the point where, like,
he was too mean to Andy. I will say that actually.
Yeah. Well, that's literally what I was going to say. Because when you get into the point of like, do you save Navarro or not? Like, I understand that because it's like, I understand. It seems like she's fine. It seems like you've saved her. You'd want to get her off. Regardless of some other people telling you it's not smart, you just want to go for it. I get that, but his meanness to Andy was a bit much, especially when, like, I know they tried to give that explanation of like his mum recently died because of a synthetics decision, and it's like, okay, but like, I guess the point, like, that's like the ultimate racist argument. Like, like whatever the equivalent of racism is towards a synthetic, whatever that word would be. But it's like, that's literally what it is. Because one of you did this, I don't like you. It's like, well, hang on, you're just grouping me in here. But then I guess, I don't know, I guess he'd argue that, like, they're not people. So that's
that's racist. They're not people.
But then it's like that gets into like a whole like a consciousness debate. But like going back to the creator,
it goes into Blade Runner type things,
exactly, all that kind of shit. Yeah. But yeah, so with, I don't know if the film's trying to open those can of worms, but he was too mean to Andy. Basically, he was rude. Andy was fun. Andy was nice. Don't be mean to him. Did you? So, who had you seen? I don't think I'd seen any of these other people in anything before. To be honest, like, I've heard of Isabella. I don't think I've seen her in anything.
Well, you've seen her in Transformers: The Last Night, obviously, and Sicario: Day of the Soldado.
Sicario. She's the little girl in Sicario, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Right. Yeah, that's
the second one, not the first one.
Yeah.
You would have seen her in a few other things. She's been in quite a few things now.
I have not seen her in Dora, Jaden. I know you have.
Have you seen her in Rosalind? I haven't seen Dora in Rosalind or Madam Web. Let us know. No, she
was in Madam Web.
She was in Madam Web. Yeah.
Are you going to talk about Madam Web as your highlight this week? I can't remember if you did it this week.
Probably not. No.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have
fun.
No, it doesn't really seem like it with any of the... Archie Renner was in Voyages apparently, but I don't really remember his character in that, so... this Ian Holm guy, he was in The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. So, yeah.
Good. Wait, was he actually... No joke. Was he actually in that one?
Was
he in the first and the last one?
I don't know if he was in that one. He was definitely in one of the... He was Rabagast or something like that. No, which one?
No, he's Bilbo.
He's Bilbo, yeah, Bilbo, yeah.
Yeah. But I think he was just in the first and last Hobbit.
Yeah, I think so.
I think. Yeah, but yes, him. Bilbo man.
Yeah. He's an up and comer. Well, maybe it's not good to make jokes about him because
he's passed.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be appropriate if he was an old dude still alive, but it's like, but there does pass a threshold where, like, maybe if someone's been dead long enough, then you can make those jokes.
How long's it been dead for? Probably not enough years.
Not that long.
Yeah.
I think it's been maybe a couple years ish.
Yeah, I think it was 20-ish, wasn't it?
Yeah, somewhere in there. So it's like, but if we're talking about someone who died in, like, I don't know, what do you reckon the line is? Like 2008?
I think, circumstance of death also is probably, because you don't really want to make jokes about, like, a tragedy, unless it's like 9/11, then it's okay, but, it's like...
Yeah, that's right. That's
Mm.
right. Yeah. Anyway, Ian Holm in this film as Rook, sort of. So in the original, he played an android named Ash.
Yeah, and this is why I was getting confused because I was saying, isn't one of them called Ash? So, but
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
So in the interview I watched with Fede, he talked about this and about how it's Rook is a new character, and they
Yeah.
intentionally made a new character and had a different character so that they didn't have to like think too much about making sure it was exactly Ian or is emulating Ian
Mm.
perfectly, or they had to worry about the exact representation of Ash as he was in the original. But they very much like the idea of going back to that
Mm.
design, and I guess he sort of, without making it sound like a negative thing, he sort of wanted his cake and eat it too. Like, we want to have Ian, we want to reprise that performance and that kind of vibe, but we also, don't want to just try and copy him exactly. So then that's why they had the other, you noted in the credits as well, they had another actor come in and do the vocals, and also I think a bit of performance
Some
capture as far as
performance,
I can
yeah.
tell. But this was the craziest part of this. Did, did you think it was CG?
Yeah.
I thought it was too,
Is it
because
not?
it really looked like it. Because it looked kind of it when I watched it, I was like, that looks like acceptable, facial reconstruction CG compared to what we've
Don't tell me
seen
it
in
was
Romulus.
makeup.
No, no, no.
Oh.
It was an animatronic. It was
Oh,
a puppet.
bullshit. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh.
So and then in the behind the scenes video, it looked really cool. Actually, it looked really
Oh,
impressive.
that's
But
crazy.
you could tell, you could tell, like, there was definitely something up, right? Like, you could
Yeah,
tell it wasn't
yeah.
like
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't perfect by any
No.
means. There's something going on there. And when I saw it again, I just like you, until I saw that, I just assumed it was, they had a crack at the CG. And Fede went on to say it was full on animatronic. He showed it and everything. It's like, fuck, what the hell? That's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then it was really, really cool. And he said that they did use CG just to like touch up little parts,
Mm,
like I don't know, I assume things like where so they could improve the lips in certain shots or whatever.
sure.
But like,
Yeah.
for the most part, it was just like that thing in camera. And yeah, I was, oh my god, where was I going with this? And I don't know. I was shocked with how good it looked, I guess.
Yeah.
I was going to say another point about it. I can't remember. But yeah, is that shocking?
Yeah, completely. I just thought it was CGI, and I thought that, we're still at the level of Rogue One in terms of recreating
Right.
faces.
Right.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of debate on Twitter, kind of about like using his image.
Really?
Yeah. Where do you fall on that?
Well, how
And
is this different to
I
when this has
assume
happened before? Is there a
because
different circumstance?
people still don't like it when it's used before.
Oh, it just comes up every time.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I think if the family has no problem with it, and if there's no
Yeah.
indication that he wouldn't have had a problem with it, then I think it's fine.
Sure. I think those people, if they knew, I feel like they still think it's CGI. I think if they knew it was practical, they'd probably be more okay with it. But then I don't really think there's much
What's
of a
the difference?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think there's really much of a difference anyway between recreating it either digitally or practically.
Yeah.
But no, I heard that his family was like, they jumped on the opportunity because they felt like he'd been kind of cast aside by Hollywood in his later stages. So they were like kind of really happy to get his his face and name back in there a little bit, and it'd be nice for him.
100%.
I still don't agree with the practice entirely. I still think, whether it's like a respect thing or I don't know, it's just a kind of way of doing it traditionally, just casting a new person, moving on, and saying this is that person. And there's kind of always issues of ethical kind of practice, I guess, that emerge. But like, I don't know, I'm fine with it, but I don't know. I'm still not sure if it's ideal.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you're afraid of the slippery slope of it.
Yeah, because remember that news like quite a few years ago now, probably year one of the show, about James Dean being casted in a film.
Oh yeah.
It was going to be like a complete recreation of it. It's like that is the slope, and it's already happening, I guess. So like
Yeah, it is. What that's sort of my thing, where it's like I totally understand that, but like it's one of those things where it's just going to happen anyway. And I feel like instead of like let's just take it on a case by case basis, and if it happens and we're not a fan, and like that James Dean thing doesn't sound great, then let's be critical of those things. But like I don't think that's a reason to then be negative of something that is actually pretty positive, in my opinion. Anyway, like feel free to disagree,
Yeah.
but
But the other side of it is always that there's living actors that are losing out on work because of, well, not in this case because they did still hire a guy to do the movements and the voice, but
yes.
in terms of I don't know, Leia and Tarkin back in Rogue One.
Well, Tarkin was portrayed by someone as well.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
He's me pulling examples out of my ass. But the argument is
you're
always
right.
that someone else is losing out on work in a climate where like there's already such a fight for kind of either actors, writers, or whatever, like for people in Hollywood to keep on working. It's still in pretty new technology though, isn't it? I mean, like I don't know. What was probably like the earliest example of it?
Tron Legacy.
Oh yeah, right. And recreating
I think.
Or did they have? Wait, hold on. Who are you talking about in Tron Legacy?
Someone's recreated in Tron Legacy, right? I honestly don't know Tron well enough.
They made Jeff Young, if that's what you're talking about.
Oh, maybe it's that. Well, that's not what you mean, though, right?
I don't know if there's a... Yeah, I mean, in terms of getting a dead person.
Yeah. A dead person. I feel like there's one I'm missing, but is it Tarkin? No, I feel like there's one before that, but maybe I'm wrong.
Mm.
It might be Tarkin. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. Hey, I listened to that same interview you were quoting with Fede is the one I listened to, and he made clear that like his family really felt that like he would have loved it, like he would have loved to have been in it. So I think that's awesome in that case. Overall, we've talked about this a little bit coming out, but how scary was this movie? How many were there big jump scares? Like, what was your sort of on your scale of experience?
I think it's the scariest of the aliens. I think it kind
of all of them.
Yeah, I think the only competition really is the first one. Yeah. And I think being in the big screen and kind of being with your friends that jump a little bit, it's it adds to some of the scares. I think also with like Alien being 79, it's just that it's still scary for sure, but like
you can just
man,
yeah, in parts for sure.
Yeah.
Like the vibe is timeless, but like, shots and things like that here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think it's close in terms of like actual like, in terms of like how much how scary it is, but yeah, I think this was like a little bit scarier than Alien, sure.
Probably. It's probably hard to argue that case. I think I was overall more tense. I've only seen Alien that one time we did it for the show, and I remember how tense I felt watching that final sequence in that film. And I don't think this film hit that for me,
sure,
personally. But overall, like this film there's definitely less, holes. Sounds a bit negative, but I don't know. There's fewer cracks in this film for sure. It's a very well made film, so it's kind of hard to argue like it probably is objectively the scariest. And I mean. I don't know. I wasn't like that scared overall, but dude, Lockie next to us was so good, man. That's like, never forget to bring him along to these films. Yeah. He adds a lot. He made it like, he probably made like my price of admission like 50% just for being there. To be honest,
he definitely contributes to some of the jumps, man. Like,
yeah.
No. There's no denying it. Had he not been there, maybe it wouldn't be that scary. But
Maybe, yeah, right, maybe. Dude, nothing beats, oh my God, the absolute best part was when in the literal first sound of the movie, he jumped. And it was that might have been his
probably his biggest one, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the so computer funny. Beeping and Mother turning on really got him.
That was awesome. But how was Henry next year? I couldn't get that sense.
That's what I was saying I was saying to Henry, I was like, it's kind of hard. It was kind of hard to judge him given like next to me, like being like
drowning out.
Yeah. I think Henry was into it. I think still, and like I think he still jumped. Yeah.
Okay.
Not as much as Hindle though. So.
No, I mean who could? Yeah. Okay, now that's cool. I mean, I kind of, let's just do it. Of course, we got to talk about probably the best part of the movie we've already talked about, and that's the final boss, human alien hybrid. Is there a name for this out there? A
I think
better
I saw.
description?
I think it was called the Offspring in the credits, wasn't it?
The Offspring. Oh, that's pretty sick. I like that. We can go for that. First of all, Jaden, just let loose the Offspring. Just go for it.
It is. It is the single coolest thing I've seen in Alien in a long time. It was awesome, dude. It feels so true to Geiger and original at the same time. It's exceptional and in its stature, in its awkwardness, but then in its menace, it looks like an engineer, which is awesome, and like kind of it's like a perfect blending of the Xenomorph, as apparently it's pronounced, which I will not take into. Rook called it Xenomorph instead of Xenomorph. Can you believe that, man?
Oh, I didn't really know that. Yeah.
Xeno just sounds more alien, Xeno.
Yeah, it does.
And then Xeno.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just him being British, but yeah. Like this hybrid Xenomorph alien human thing was exceptional. And it was just the most exciting kind of experience I've had this year in a theater. Tops Mad Max, tops Dune, tops whatever else we're saying. Kingdom of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, right. Tops Dune.
That 15 minutes tops anything in Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's strong. I thought it was sick. I'm basically right there with you. It felt like, in terms of you comparing it to the rest of the franchise, I totally agree. It felt like the first time that this franchise has really made an effort to evolve into something next level horrifying, beyond the first film. I know we've had our variations. We've had our Xenomorph, hybrids, the Queen, whatever.
Morphs.
Right. They've had their little fun, their little sandbox or whatever, right? But none of them hit like this. And the Xenomorphs are still cool, obviously. The as the third act was ratcheting up with them, and there was a few Xenomorphs in this film. Everything was done really well. I still felt like it was pretty exciting in parts, but overall, when you get to that part where, at least I thought the film was over, when they get off, they escape the actual Xenomorphs on the station itself. Everything preceding that, I was like, this is cool, but it felt pretty safe overall in terms of not the situation, but in terms of where it sits in the franchise. Yeah, they fought a few Xenomorphs, good for them, kind of thing. We've seen that before. But then Rain blasts off, and Kay and Andy are still alive and there at that point. And I thought the movie was over, and then this new dude turns up, and it's like I realized how much the movie needed this. Not that it was a bad movie or anything, but just this just shot a huge chunk of adrenaline into the film right away. As soon as I saw that dude, in that first instant, that first shot where he's kind of in the hallway in the shadow, I'm like, oh, okay. And as a result, felt like this whole new this franchise just took on a whole new life in that moment as well. So I thought, no, I'm right there with you. I thought it was really, really exciting, really great choice, and really after 7 entries in this series, I think it's 7, right? 7. This really
plus AVP.
They really needed something. AVP doesn't count. It really needed something like this, I think, and they did a great job because it looked gnarly. It looked nuts.
I'm devastated I had to kill Kay, but it needed to kill someone.
Definitely.
Yeah. But exceptional stuff.
Did you think the movie was over?
No, because she injected herself with that thing. I knew there was still a conundrum to come. I just didn't know how it was going to manifest. I thought they were going to go back down to the planet and she's going to burst out as Xenomorph, and it's going to run havoc down there on the colony, which apparently only has 2,500 people, which is bullshit.
What? Wait, it bullshit in terms of that's not feasible, or
there's way too little people for how much 2,700 something was the population.
That's what it said.
Way too little, man. It's a whole fucking mining colony, man, with 10-year-olds and strippers, man.
Oh,
you're telling me it's only going to be 2,700 people?
Yeah, that sounds like, I get what you mean. That sounds like a bare minimum operation at that number.
Yeah,
but it did not get the vibe of a bare minimum operation when we were walking.
This
around.
This is 15,000 minimum.
Yes. No, that's actually fair.
Yeah, it's my only issue with the movie.
Is it actually?
Probably.
Probably. I actually do want to. I do want to talk about that in a second. But just while we're talking about the Offspring, I have some trivia for the Offspring. The idea for the final monster in the film was derived from a letter writer. Wait, what? Oh yeah, from a letter writer Dan O'Bannon sent designer HR Geiger. Geiger.
I always say Geiger. I've never actually heard it pronounced before, I think.
No, of course it's Geiger. I hate when that happens, when it's so obvious. Anyway, a letter that this guy wrote to the designer of the original film at the time. And the letter says, quote, "The alien third mature phase, having left its victim, the alien promptly grows to man size, whereupon it is terrifically dangerous. It is very mobile, strong, and capable of tearing a man to pieces. It feeds on human flesh. This creature should be a profane abomination. Our producers have suggested that something resembling an oversized, deformed baby might be sufficiently loathsome." So they went all the way back to the late 70s to find that note and took that as their inspiration, which I thought felt very appropriate, felt very right. So that was cool. And you're right, it did look like an engineer. It looked like a disgusting engineer with those goddamn, I don't know what you call it, craters on its back, I guess you would call them.
Oh yeah, that was sick. Yeah.
It was so tall. Oh man, it was nuts. Since you brought it up, we sort of, I mean, maybe we already talked about it already, but the opening sequence on the colony, actually being on a mining colony, and the choice to actually show that in this film, I thought it was a fantastic choice. Like being able to, for the first time as an audience member in this series, feel like I can actually get a glimpse into what it's like to live in the alien universe as a regular person. I feel like I've never gotten that in this series. You know, like we're always on a ship,
in AVP,
always on a planet.
You are.
Oh God, do you actually?
No, I mean it's set on Earth, so you
get a sense of like what the cities are like on Earth.
Alien vs Predator is very self-contained in like one location, and it's set in the modern day. So it's
Oh, what? It's set in like
2004, yeah, whatever it is, yeah.
Oh, so it's actually like, but is it? If you were to consider it alien canon, like
it's the first movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's before Prometheus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not. I didn't even.
But
know
apparently,
that. Okay.
it isn't canon though. I thought it was, but then this week I saw someone say no. So, but yeah.
Right. Okay. That's. I mean, not surprising, but that actually. I don't know if I want to watch it more or less now, but.
It's Paul W. S. Anderson. You do know that, right?
Yeah. Shit, I should want to watch it. You're right. Sorry, I shouldn't say that to you, number one fan. Okay. Anyway, but regardless of AVP, it felt to me like it was the first time I actually got to live in the life of someone in this universe. It was still only the first 10 or 15 minutes or whatever it was, but I just feel like I understood this universe a lot better just from those 15 minutes or whatever it was, like understanding the dynamics. We always hear about the Wayland Corporation or whatever, but like actually seeing the company, its effect on the ground level of people, what it does to Rain and her family and all that kind of thing. Like immediately, like I just the whole thing and the concepts that the films have always been about in the background just sort of came to the forefront and just clicked in my mind. And I thought it was a great idea to open the film that way. Yeah.
I think the setting felt very Ridley, but not Ridley Alien, Ridley Blade Runner,
Blade Runner for sure.
Yeah. With all the smoke and smog and shit. I think it was exceptionally designed as well. And I think you can kind of tell, it's all just like kind of one long soundstage, given like the way that it's kind of tracked and cut together. You can tell how it's been constructed, but I think it's cool that way.
Yeah,
I think it's a really cool glimpse into, I don't know, just how far we've gotten.
Definitely
into that world.
Yeah, that's right. It felt like it did feel quite Blade Runner-ish actually. And I like the idea of Fede sort of like taking that as his aesthetic influence, with Ridley obviously working on the film as well. That's cool. But yeah, you're right about the population though. I can't disagree with that. Rain getting in line though, and like this is sort of what I was talking about with like it's such an easy thing to do, but her getting in line and having her quota doubled for no reason was such bullshit, man. It was just like it infuriated me. It was like that's what I mean. Where like in that little thing, which is obviously such an easy tactic to get me to buy into the character, but it worked. and then at the same time showed me something about the company I never knew, that they do shit like this to people, and that there's quotas, and then they have to work them all. Like, it's teaching me all these new things while getting me to root for the character. It's so simple, but it just felt new to me because I don't feel like any of these movies have ever done this before. So I was just like, this is all these little things that the film's doing are the new things for the series that are making me more invested in it. In it. Get it? Because
yeah,
they're British.
the quote from the film, yeah.
Yeah, that was also what he said, in it. Yeah. In terms of the production design, we already, of course, raved about how cool the Offspring was, but anything else you wanted to shout out? The Xenomorphs. So the Xenomorph, it was CG in Covenant, I want to say.
The Covenant one
at least
was,
in parts. Yeah. But was it noteworthy how they went back to practical stuff? Did it change the feel of anything?
I think you can tell in the way they walk, man. Like when they walk, there's a little bit of goofiness into them, but like it's still it's still menacing. But given that it's people in suits are animatronics, so I think they used animatronics for this one, right?
I'm not for the Xenomorphs. I'm not 100% sure.
Because I think for the one on the wall that was coming down, I think I definitely saw Fede with like a controller and doing that part. But then for like when there was like a bunch of them, I'm not sure if that was people in suits or not. But yeah, I think it's exceptional stuff. In terms of like just kind of design and kind of the franchise where we're at with Fede as a director as well, like Navarro's death is really cool, but like given who Fede is as a director, it should have been way more bloody kind of thing. Like, it's already bloody, right? But like, I don't know. Yeah, given that this is an alien chest burster, and you have this guy that did the Evil Dead franchise, the Evil Dead reboot, and then and Don't Breathe and all that shit. Like, I would have loved to see this like really gored up, like shit tons.
Okay, I feel like okay. Would that start then it feeling sort of visually inconsistent with what the franchise is? Because I feel it felt perfect to me.
It would have just been him stamping himself just on that one scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I guess he just didn't want to do that. But I mean, I can see why I can see why.
Well, the acid melting of Bjorn was pretty nice as well. But like, I don't know, I just feel like a super bloody chest burst would have been mad.
Yeah, for sure. Well then, I guess it wasn't any more bloody. I found the second one with the actual birth with Kay's character, that was like,
oh yeah,
that was next level.
That was fun as. Like it's just perfect things. Like that is just like the perfect fun a horror movie should be. Like birthing an alien, hybrid thing is just exactly everything a horror movie should be.
Right. It was truly revolting, but yes, in the best way, I suppose. Yeah, I thought the production time was phenomenal. Like, probably my favorite set was probably that that long sort of curving hallway with all the gross shit up on the walls and all that. I don't even know what that is. Whatever the Xenomorphs leave behind.
Yeah.
If it's their fucking cobwebs or I don't know what it is. But that was probably my favorite set. I just thought the whole movie looked great though on the station.
Yeah, I think even the space CG looked great. It was really refreshing to go to actual space CG after so much Marvel space.
So much what? Sorry,
Marvel space CG with all their swirling nebulas and their colors and their
gotcha.
I really don't like it, man.
Yeah,
that's for another film.
Well, that would not have suited this film at all.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, but yeah, the whole asteroid belt thing and like the kind of the collision looked so like brilliant. With the asteroid belt on the station.
Yeah, and using that as part of the, like the time they've got to get the actual, sort of imminent destruction, and part of the plot with the imminent destruction of the station, that was cool too. Yeah. The film's production design draws not only on the previous films in the series, but also the Alien Isolation video game, including the emergency communication stations, which served as save points in the game. Fede Alvarez played the game around the time Don't Breathe was released, and later said, I was playing and realised how terrifying Alien could be if you take it back to that tone. And he was the man to do it.
Alien really Isolation probably is the scariest a franchise ever has been, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can, like, I didn't overall find, I don't know. I'm sort of weird with horror films. I can't tell. I think I'm different depending on the day you get me in some cases, but I didn't really find this film that scary. I don't take that as a knock. I don't take that as a con or like as a knock at all. But because I thought it was really cool. But dude, I bet contrast that to Alien Isolation. That's a hell nah from me. I've seen people play that shit. That is absolutely no. I can't do that. So I feel like it's just got to inherently be the scariest.
Yeah,
because it's really, as far as I remember, anyway. It's like, hey, do you have much experience with it? Did you watch people play it, or
just watching people play it at high school. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like in person, like watching over shoulders.
yeah, dude. Yeah, I cannot do that. But I guess it's just a testament to how good the game is and stuff. But I don't know. I really like that Fede played the game, and it seems like, I don't know. It sort of seems like, I don't want to like make too big a statement, but it sort of sounds like he wouldn't have ever have made this film if he didn't play that game, or like it very much influenced this film. Outside of just the Easter eggs or whatever. It felt like he was really wanted to recapture something from that, But yeah, I didn't catch the save points personally because I don't know the game that well. But yeah, I'm sure fans probably thought that was sick. Bit of trivia. When Mother states they have 30 minutes until impact, the film's in real life time and impact occurs just as the system calculated.
I had a feeling it would. I tried to keep as like, I'm not going to be checking my watch to try and keep track of it, but like,
yeah. I was doing the same thing. I was like, when they came up again and they said like 20 minutes. I think that was every 10 minutes. 20 minutes. I was like, how's it been? That sort of felt like 10 minutes. Yeah. I was like, as it was going, I was kind of like, But yeah, apparently it is. The film was originally scheduled to be released on Hulu, but it switched to a theatrical release in June of 2023.
Hold on, when did Prey drop? Did Prey drop in 2022 or
22?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Prey was just because Prey was in this batch of projects they were doing that they said were going to be Hulu.
Yeah,
I think Prey just came a bit too soon, where theaters were
still.
I think theaters were probably okay then, but maybe just
still recovering big time. I'd say.
Yeah. So I think Prey sort of got. I think if Prey came out today, it would have been in the theater, so it sort of got shafted.
Yeah,
in that respect.
Well, I think the response to Prey is probably also something that pushed this on the big screen.
Hopefully. Yeah. Fede said in the same interview, he said like it was. They had said it was going to be Hulu, but like they never made it like it was going to be. It was never like this is a streaming movie. Then they were told they were getting a theatrical release, and then it changed everything about how they did everything. It was just like it was very much they wanted to make the same thing the whole time. They were going to make a theatrical film, and if it ended up being on Hulu, that's what it was going to be. But it didn't change anything for him. Is basically what he was saying. The only other sort of point I have here is about the ending and sort of just in terms of the outcome and where it leaves us for possible sequel potential, if that's something we'd be interested in exploring. The ending's not, that different to Alien at the end of the day, and we obviously got goddamn many sequels there. So in that sense, there's sequel potential. But I also don't know if I really am walking out wanting that at the same time.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest difference between Rain and Ripley is that, like, Ripley eventually grew to, like, they kept on bringing Ripley back and they justified her going back as like kind of wanting to root out the aliens and kind of keep on, protecting people. Like, I don't see Rain as that character. She just wants to get to her place with her brother. And like, she's not going to get called back by the company to exterminate aliens, So like, that's probably one of the most significant changes, I think, between characters. They could definitely still do something with her if they wanted to. But I reckon just with the way the series trends, that might be better leaving it alone.
Yeah, I think it's cool to leave it alone. I think I was sort of like imagining where she goes after, imagining that she makes it to the planet, which I assume she does. I guess the only real like thread that's a bit hard to sort of imagine the outcome for without a film is whatever happens with Andy.
Yeah, but you don't need a full film at all to try and explain away what happens there.
No, but will they? Yeah, I don't know. They could even. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I guess what I'm saying is I don't want like just a full Rain Andy sequel. I feel like let's just leave stuff alone.
Yeah,
that's fine.
And I feel like if they would try and continue it by like saying like she gets to that planet she was going, and then it's also got aliens, it's going to feel too much like Aliens,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
And then Rain gets like a baby she has to carry around. Great. Yeah. I know. I guess my mind sort of just went to if you do something kind of like Prometheus to Covenant, where not in a 1-to-1, but just in terms of like where it's a new story, new cast of characters, but you sort of it's more tied to it than like the others. Like maybe Rain's referenced or Andy's in it, or something like that, where it's more tied to Romulus without it being like an actual like sequel per se.
Alien
because I wouldn't call
Ramus.
right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call Covenant like a sequel
Well,
to
it
Prometheus.
is.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not like
No, but it is.
It's not
like you're just wrong here. I mean, like,
yeah, but okay, but not in the traditional sense of like, because Shaw survived Prometheus, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like she's the main character of Covenant.
No, but David is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, David is. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, we meet David later in the film, right?
Yeah, but we don't need David.
Yeah, that's right. But you understand what I'm saying? Like it's like a new cast of characters where they go there and sure they meet David and it's tied to Prometheus. I'm just saying it's not like a direct like a Ripley's back or Shaw's back or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want Rain back and they do another. They go back and do something else. Give me something with Andy and I'll just do exactly the same thing as they did with Covenant. Copy it where they go Andy somewhere. He's been missing 100 years and he's now the villain. All right, let's get to our final verdicts for Alien Romulus, Jaden.
I'll give it a 9. I think it was incredible stuff. Happy that it was my first Alien on the big screen. I would have liked to see Covenant back in the day, but it is what it is. This was a great kind of first Alien on this on in the cinema.
Yeah,
all around exceptional stuff.
Jaden, this is hard. I mean, it shouldn't be hard. I feel like all week I've been a strong 7.
Oh.
This is one of those cases where I just spend like an hour like sounding like I'm glowing.
Yeah,
but it doesn't translate to exactly like I sort of because I can't come in every review and just be clear like just to be clear, everyone. This isn't really my genre, like this isn't really without doing all that shit. Because it's true, like I don't know, these aren't my favorite movies in the world, like Alien in general, horror movies in general, or like this, it's not really my thing. But I thought it was really good. I thought it was like really, really strong. If you're a fan of this shit, like as you are, Jen, I could totally appreciate that you eat it up. I sound like I've been talking like it's an 8, so it's kind of bugging me. I'm giving it a strong 7. I'm going to stick with what I've felt all week. I'm going to stick with my base instincts.
What did you give what did you give Alien, just if you can remember?
That's the other thing. So Alien for me is an 8.
Right.
And this, I can't rate this the same as Alien.
No, yeah, sure. Yeah.
But I really but I still really liked it. But again, that's sort of the scale I'm at, where it's like, I can't rate this higher than Alien because I don't think it's as good as Alien overall. But like I don't think I will ever give Alien higher than an 8. Just
it's a pretty sufficient score. I mean, like
yeah, exactly.
It's very high still. Yeah,
exactly. So that's kind of why like a 7 feels right for me. And a 7, and we'll get not to spoil the question of the week, but like a 7 is still like it fits with the rest of the series for me. I don't think I gave any of the others a 7, so I feel like it in the ranking it makes sense as well. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Let me tell you, if we can do it, anyone can. And that's thanks to Zencastr. Like a lot of other podcasts out there, our show is recorded over the web every week. But trying to record a podcast with platforms like Zoom and Discord can be an audio quality disaster. I'm sure you've heard some of the podcasts I'm talking about with long delays, sound cutting in and out. It is not pleasant. Zencastr captures studio quality sound for all of your guests right from your web browser. Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. And with Zencastr's all-in-one platform, you can create and distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations all in one place. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CinemaEffect to get 30% off your first month of any paid plan. That's zencastr.com/pricing with promo code CinemaEffect with an E for 30% off today. Feel a sense of Zen with Zencastr. Let's get into news chat. Before this, Jane, you watched the trailer to Secret Level. This is the new, basically the spiritual successor to Love, Death and Robots, except now it's on Prime Video. And the other main thing is that every short is about a video game franchise. Which, when I heard about this earlier this week, I never heard of it. I assume that if you were following this stuff closely, you'd know about it, but I didn't know about it. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I better check that out. Watched the trailer. Visually thought it looked phenomenal, but I don't know. There's a lot of intrigue here, so I just want to know. You're a Love, Death, and Robots guy, so how did you feel about it?
Yeah. Well, I think like one of the appeals of Love, Death and Robots is like the kind of different animation styles that you do kind of get to experience. And in that one, the realistic CGI ones were always like, you know, the a bit of the less interesting ones. So now you're getting a series that's pretty much entirely in that art style. Like, it's still appreciation like of that. Like, it's still nice. I still quite like what it is, but like, it's just, you know, one of the appeals of Love, Death and Robots is the variation. So losing that's one thing.
Yeah.
You know, because it was kind of hard to tell which, like, if you're not overly familiar with these IPs, it was kind of hard to tell with the trailer, like, which one's meant to be which. Because I've, you know, played none of these games pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I've played fucking Mega Man, one of the fucking, you know, scrolling ones. So like, hard to tell with that. Yeah, I'm pretty excited, I guess. But like, so is this Love, Death and Robots dead in the water then, or is it like, is this just meant to be something like in between?
No, I don't know. So yeah, it's Tim Miller. Like, it's the did Blur? So it's Blur Studio. Did they do Love, Death and Robots?
This is the producers. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, that's a good question. I just know Tim Miller's leading it, like he did that show. So I don't know if he's then going to go back to that show, or the fact it's moved to Prime sort of makes it feel like. Do you go back to it? Do streamers work that way? Where I know they're all freelancers, but then like, if you make a new deal with Prime for this show, like, are you going to go back to Netflix and do? I don't know. It sort of sounds weird because I know, like,
I don't know how that works.
That's not usually. Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, you're right.
Because like, that feels like a kind of very old Hollywood thing in terms of like signing contracts with certain companies. You know, it's not really what you get. That's not really happening anymore. Where, you know, you don't lock into an 11 film deal with fucking. I mean, actually, I guess Denis and Nolan kind of do that. I guess it still happens. I guess, yeah.
Well, so that's the thing. Mike Flanagan moved from Netflix to Prime, and we haven't seen the result of that yet, but he did.
True.
And then I assume whatever his next show is going to be that. So, yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. We probably could just Google and get the answer.
Well, has Jonathan Nolan officially jumped off HBO then, or?
Yeah, but I don't know if he ever had a deal with them though. You know, because he just did Westworld with them. So that's the thing. See, Mike was a different case because he literally had like 5 shows on Netflix. Yeah. I think he did have a deal with them. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, or maybe I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, this trailer was interesting. I feel like I'm gonna have to check the show out from pure curiosity. It's interesting. You're so right about the art styles, and it's funny because I feel like you'd think if you're playing with these different game series, you have the opportunity to play with some different art styles. You wouldn't think.
Tell me why Spelunky has to look the same as fucking Armored Core, man.
Exactly, 100%. And dude, like fucking Pac-Man, like, and Mega Man. It's like, you know, why do they have to look like super realistic CG things? And like, you know, maybe there probably will be some variations in art style when we see it, but overall, yeah, it's not like I didn't see anything too wildly varied. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out. I think the series of games is quite interesting. There's a few I haven't heard of. I heard of most of them though. You know, like Armored Core, obviously, Sifu. New World.
What interesting was that PlayStation came up. So are you telling me it's going to be like an Avengers of PlayStation characters?
That's what I was going to say. The weirdest. So Kratos, both Kratos and Jin Sakai are in the trailer. Jin's the Ghost of Tsushima main character. They're both in the trailer. So I then expected to go to the list of games that are going to be that are based on the shorts and see God of War and Ghost of Tsushima. Instead, I just get PlayStation, and then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's just how they wrote it in the press release. So then I'm like, but there's 15 episodes, and there's 15 different things here, and there's only one. PlayStation takes one of the 15 spots, so it's like, is there? So it is like, is there a PlayStation episode where like Aloy's going to fight? Like,
well, Aloy definitely
what?
feels like a character that they're pushing. So like, it surprised me if it's a PlayStation centered episode and there is no Aloy. To be honest,
Yeah, 100%. If there's going to be this PlayStation episode, whatever the hell it ends up being, like, might be the most like fever dream shit. Like, it sounds like it could be, because it's like, how are you putting God of War and Ghost of Tsushima? And you're 100% right. If they've say they're taking 5 and whatever they creatively, however they justify it, whatever, like Aloy has to be one of them. You'd think so.
yeah.
So it's like,
I would have said Ali was a shoo-in, but given how HBO now has Last of Us, maybe not. I don't know.
yeah, maybe not in that. Yeah, because I think they'd probably want to stick with IPs that are distinctively video game. And Last of Us is kind of not just a video game now. Yeah. So I don't know what that PlayStation episode, man. I don't know what I want out of it. It's kind of a bit of a mind fuck for me right now, because it's like the only other, I don't actually see the characters interacting. That would be weird. That would be utterly bizarro world. Maybe it would be entertaining. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want it, because like maybe it would be insanely like awesome, but I also don't want it. So I don't know. But then the only other alternative is what, like, they have like multiple, like,
An
they do, like,
anthology
3 minutes
within an
each.
anthology. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They do like
Mhm.
3 minutes each or something. Which, in that case, why would you not just do an episode per game?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really odd. Really odd. I think so. I guess the prevailing thought for me here is that my curiosity is going to guide me on this one. I think I'm going to have to check it out just to see what the hell the result is. But it looks sexy as hell. I can't deny that. I can't disagree with your point on the artistic stuff, but Blur always make amazing looking CG stuff, so it'll be cool to look at least. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Jaden, I've got absolutely nothing, so like, if you want, you can do 2. You know,
I'll do 2.
If you really want to.
I'll kick off with Madam Web then. If you
Yeah, go for it.
since
I'd
you
love to
mentioned
hear
it.
about this.
Yeah, I wasn't
I'll
going
get some
to, but
popcorn.
you brought it up.
Yeah,
Because technically Madam Web was last week, but fuck it.
I want to hear about it.
This movie is awful. It really is. But like, the greatest contributing factor to that is Dakota Johnson. She gives this movie absolutely nothing. She does not try in the single fucking bit. She gives the worst possible performance that she possibly could have done. Like, just zero. Like, absolutely zero. She rocks up on the day, says some shit, and fucks off. Like, she had no care at all. And, like, the script's not great. The script's pretty bad. And, a lot of things around the film are pretty bad. But her just commitment to not trying at all for this fucking thing just to get a paycheck, which, that's fine. Actors can do whatever the fuck they want. That, they get paid for, at the end of the day. The studio chose them. It's their fault. But she is the reason why it is so bad. It is bad. She makes it so much worse, man. And like, I say that as someone who's fine with Dakota Johnson. She's fine in other things I've seen. At Bad Times and like in the other ones and all that stuff. Like, I don't have an issue with her. She does nothing in this film at all. It is like, if I was producing this, I would have been fucking pissed off so much, man. Like, I either would have dropped her or I would have fucking taken her to court afterwards, man. Because there is such little effort done. And like, there are some genuinely, like, not genuine, like, there are some fine moments of the film that could have been, fine had she bothered to act. So yeah, I blame the movie on her. As much as there is other bad stuff around it. Sydney Sweeney's really on her last, like, kind of fucking thread, haha, joke, spider thread. She's not a good actor, man. Like I don't know. Like, look, to be fair, I've not seen much of you. I've seen the first episode of Euphoria, so maybe that really is like her main thing. But like, she was also really bad in this. From what I can remember, she was pretty average in Euphoria. I've seen her in this really shit B horror movie, which I kind of tossed aside because it's a shit B horror movie, and I thought, this is just her finding her legs. But her acting in that is the same as her acting is now, 8 years later? Like, and in Nocturnal was fine. and like it was nothing really to sing praises about. So like I don't know, is she actually a good actor, or is she or like I can't tell, man, because everything I've seen her in, she's been either fine or really bad. I guess I need to like see a few more main roles before I can give my final verdict on that. But like that was crazy as well.
I don't think you're far off on that, to be honest. Like, I'm a Euphoria fan. I've got no issue with her in Euphoria, but like, I've never once seen her in Euphoria. I like her character in Euphoria, but I've never once seen her and thought she's phenomenal. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think she's elevating the character in Euphoria really. Like, she's doing it fine, but the character, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
sure. This director, S.J. Clarkson, I didn't think I knew, but then it turns out I have seen a TV series that she did, called Collateral, which starred Carey Mulligan, which was fantastic. So I can't see her contributing so like to such a like significant degree that this will be like, because Collateral is brilliant. It's really well written, well directed, well acted. It's just exceptionally put together, really tight kind of crime story. So then, like now knowing that she was attached to both these things, I'm a bit fucking confused, man. And it's like it's just crazy. Isabella was fine in it, but once again, like not fantastic at all. I think is she the other main person? Yeah, Celeste was okay. She was probably equivalent to Isabella. Adam Scott was probably like the actual like only actor that I liked that read his lines fine, and the jokes somewhat landed. In this movie, not great. Could have been fine. Well, it never was going to be fine. It could have been bad, but it's terrible because of her.
Like you wanted to give her at least like effort points, but you can't.
No,
God, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal, man. Oh shit! So like, this isn't even like I need to. Does it cross that line of like it's so bad I need to watch it?
No, because it's just bad. It's just shit, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a bummer.
And like I haven't seen Morbius as like a point of comparison, so I don't really know.
Right.
But like if this is what Morbius is, then like it deserves everything that's been said about it.
Yeah. God bless Sony Spider-Man universe, just pumping out the hits, man.
I love the Amazing Spider-Man. You said so at the start, So like I am a Sony Spider-Man guy.
Oh yeah, but we're beyond that. That isn't even like that's not even what we're talking about anymore.
No,
now.
but like I'm fine with the Venom films as well. I like the Venom films. Yeah, it's just that the coda really kills this film, man.
Gets you hyped for Kraven the Hunter.
I mean, it'll be like I won't watch it until it comes on Prime 6 months later. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Feel free to take us, hopefully, to a better place with your next highlight.
Better. Not really anything better. I mean, they're like better. Yes, better, but like nothing great. I did watch Hostel Part 2. I don't remember if I spoke about the first one. But Hostel is it's an Eli Roth joint who's been making the rounds in the news recently because of his acclaimed film. That's just recently dropped.
Huge hit.
Eli Roth is a fun guy, He's a pretty. He has some fun here and there, And Hostel, like the first one, was just kind of, early 2000s kind of a gore fest kind of type thing. I wasn't really expecting too much out of the second one, but it was on stands. So like, fuck it, you might as well watch it. I was never really intending to, but it's here, so I will. And it was actually quite decent. Which shocked me because usually Part 2 is like this is the immediate downfall of these like horror series. It's got like a pretty fine cast, and the gore is pretty decent, and the story is actually pretty nice. As a kind of fun little feminist twist, I guess, in the end with the way it falls out. It was all around acceptable. Which is like the most surprising thing you can get from a Part 2 to mid 2000s slasher. So, I mean, not a slasher, just kind of torture pornish type thing. Yeah.
Has Eli Roth made like a shit ton of movies?
He's probably made like 12 or something like that.
God, that's quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of never really. Is he more of an actor or a director overall?
Well, he's got 70 acting credits and he's got 17 directing credits. So I guess that gives you
well, in your opinion, what is he like most well known for?
Acting. I don't know. Because like the directing stuff he does, I know very well as a fan of horror, and who is also within these circles of cult horror stuff. like things like Green Inferno and Cabin Fever, like kind of have a pretty decent footing in this kind of cult horror kind of thing. But like, yeah, in terms of acting, I'm not really sure what he's done other than his work with Tarantino, to be honest.
Well, yeah, apparently 70 credits, but yeah, Bugger, I don't think I've seen him in anything, to be honest, outside of course, Inglorious.
Yeah, he's got a few things here and there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. He does alright with his films.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So, like, whenever, if Eli Roth new horror joint coming out, you're always like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm really keen to watch Thanksgiving. It came onto Prime a couple of months ago.
That's right. Yeah, I was thinking what was his... Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Well, Borderlands is his most recent venture.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's right.
But Thanksgiving before that, which I heard pretty good things about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Which gives me hope.
All right, we can get to our question of the week. Last week we asked you, what is the best Alien sequel? Andy said, just coming in here with the flame and takes, man. Alien Resurrection is my favourite Alien sequel. Sigourney Weaver somehow gets more sexier film after film, and Jaden's favourite sport has made its mark into the franchise. And he, of course, posts the gif where Sigourney Weaver does a perfect... What's that called when you throw the in backwards?
Oh.
Swish, yeah. Whatever. Backwards swish.
Sure.
In an Alien Resurrection. Never forget that scene. And by never forget it, I mean I forgot it until I saw the GIF. But yes. Thank you, Andy. I'm very glad that someone out there is showing that movie some love. Dr. Luke said, the one with the bad CGI white alien, only so that you have to discuss it again on the show. Is that... What's he talking about?
I think it's talking about Resurrection.
Was it white?
Well, there was that white one that had like the human eyes that you kind of feel sorry for.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I assume he's talking about that. I don't know, man.
He probably is.
Because I can't imagine him meaning like the engineers. Because
that's the only other thing I could think of.
Because that's not bad CGI, but they are white, you know. So I mean, like
we never talked about them. We never talked them about like them being bad and like oh shit, we have to talk about these.
Yeah,
so, I don't think so.
I don't really think there's any other white alien. Is there anything in Prometheus? Is there like a white alien in Prometheus? No?
Don't think so.
Yeah.
Andy said, I already said anyone Andy said, but Andy came back again and said that Nick's favourite Alien sequel definitely sounds like it would be Resurrection. And that's because Nick... look, this is the thing. Luke's already got the exclusive contract where if he writes something on Letterboxd, I'll read it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that applies to Nick.
Nah.
You know, shout out to Nick. Go follow him on Letterboxd. Check out his Alien reviews. It was interesting seeing his takes as they came out. His take on Resurrection was terrible. His take on Alien 3 was fantastic.
His take on Alien Resurrection was actually correct.
It was unreasonable. Didn't understand it. Didn't understand what the film was, clearly. So yeah, no, check those out. I guess, I don't even know if you remember where he got up to, but I don't know what his would be. I can't remember from the scores.
Liam.
Nick's.
Oh, Nick. Don't recall. Maybe the first. Oh, sorry, it's sequels. Probably Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, right? Of like when you ask this question, I assume a lot of people are just like, "Duh, aliens, duh." I assume, Jaden, that both you and I are not along this train of thought.
Yep.
Now, see, here's my thing. If you don't mind, I've got to try and pick which one you like better. I can't remember. All right, I know I got to look at your scores, and they might even be the same. I've got no idea of which one you like better between Covenant and Prometheus. Unless, well, hang on, does Romulus take one of the spots there?
Well, I'm scared to put Romulus in because of recency bias, but like it's Romulus and one of those that would be fighting for it.
Yeah, okay. Well, Romulus is definitely. I sort of already said earlier. Romulus is definitely mine, like without a doubt.
Yeah.
Not really anything close, to be honest. But yeah, okay. But is there a clear winner between Prometheus and Covenant for you? Or?
Yeah, for me, I think their scores might be set. I think like last time we watched them, like for the show, that I might have made them the same even. But there's one I much prefer. Yeah.
Is it Covenant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Covenant is exceptional. Really brilliant for me. But yeah, But Romulus is definitely fighting hard to kind of take that title of best sequel.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's funny looking back at the scores, and well, first of all, like Prometheus is better regarded than Covenant. It's got better average scores, which is interesting. I kind of I do remember them both. In my head, they kind of feel like they occupy a similar space in my mind where they kind of overlap. I know they're kind of similar, and there's overlap in the actual films and stuff. But even in my mind, they're kind of similar. But I went back because I can't even remember what I scored them, and I went back, and I also thought Covenant. I gave Covenant a better score. I assume in the review, because we were doing the series at the time, like I felt that way and I justified it and everything. I've got no idea what I said, but I kind of want to re-listen now actually. But I gave Prometheus a 5 and Covenant a 6. So like, I wasn't overboard about either of these, but I guess I was with you on the Covenant train compared to Prometheus. Can we? Okay, I guess the only remaining thing here to sort of quash everyone that's like, why are we having this conversation? It's obviously aliens. Jen, how ass is Aliens really?
I loved Aliens the first time I watched it, and I remember saying this in our review. But that rewatch for Aliens was terrible. I struggled to make myself give that a 6, and the only reason it kind of kept that was because of how high I initially had it, which was at 9. And like I initially like thought of it on the same tier, if not above Alien. That is why it is still on a respectable score. But that last rewatch was just so hard, man. Like I really it's such an interesting thing because I think it had it been anyone other than Jim Cameron, I think people would have taken big offense to him changing the franchise so much. You know,
right?
Like to go from a silent stalker horror in space to a guns out, dicks out, fucking action film is crazy as shit. And like that's not why I think I had issues because of that. But like that is one thing that I find interesting about it. But like they're just. I think it was just really boring. I think that was my thing with the rewatch. There was just so little of interest, and like just nothing seemed to work from the action angle. I think.
No.
And like which still feels so weird for me to say, given how much I loved it on the first watch. And one of the things I remember talking about in the review as well is like, did I watch a different version from the first time? Because I have the director's cut and I have the original cut as like a box set thing. So I'm not sure which one I watched first and which one I watched second, and whether that is what changed it. But yeah,
it can make such a big difference. Yeah.
I think the action in Aliens just doesn't function, which is an interesting thing because the franchise did become so much more about action. Following that.
Yeah.
I think this Romulus is probably the first true return to horror as like as your kind of primary genre.
Well, yeah. So, what would you consider Prometheus and Covenant then? Because
sci-fi thrillers.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, because they're definitely not action movies.
No.
But yeah, I wouldn't. You're right. I wouldn't be strong about calling them horror either. So, yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah, man, I think Aliens is ass. Like, I don't know. I gave that in that review. I gave it a 6, and I'm sure I had some mental gymnastics to like justify that at the time. But like, that is why I've not watched it since. But it's just one that's just one of those ones that's just totally soured in my mind. Like, as we've gotten on, I'm just like, God, why did I give that a 6?
Yeah,
I still remember liking anything about it, but I even remember saying, everyone like the last fight's meant to be iconic. Like, I even remember saying in the review, this shit's lame. Like, this is not good.
Yeah, I think I still disagree with that point. I still think the Alien Queen is awesome stuff, and I think Ripley's kind of fight with it is. I agree that is iconic and that is cool.
Okay,
but I just think the rest of the film just doesn't function.
Doesn't function. Yeah,
it is crazy how much introducing more of the same killed the horror aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think old mate Jimmy was trying to keep the horror aspect alive.
No,
really,
no.
Yeah, but that's, you know what, that's so funny. Like, did audiences at the time care about the shift in genre? Like, I don't think so.
Aliens is one of the best regarded sequels in history.
Yeah, but it speaks to, I don't know, I feel like it speaks to a difference in how the audience like perceive, because you're just your point about it being, people today would be pissed off at the change of genre. I feel like that's totally true. Like, if, say, I don't know, pick a movie from like, well, the gap between Alien and Aliens was like 8 years or something, wasn't it?
79 to 86. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. 7 years. So it's like, if you pick a movie from 7 years ago and the sequel comes out and it changes the genre, like, I assume today, you can just see the Twitter fest on that today, right? So it's just, I'm not saying they were.
It's like taking Covenant, which is a sci-fi thriller, and turning it into a horror film.
Changing, making a whole new thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying like people should be mad at aliens. It's just so, I don't know. I just found that you saying that, I found that an interesting point.
Yeah,
it's like,
the genre swap isn't why I dislike it. It's just that, but it's just as a consequence of what the genre is. There is many things I don't like. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I don't like on this recent rewatch.
Yeah, maybe you'll go back.
I'll watch Jim Cameron's cut again and fucking fall in love again.
Yeah. Give it a 10. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad we agree on.
Or should we speculate on Liam's?
Absolutely. I mean, I know. Yeah, we could just check the scores. Well, I mean, I think. I think
when
he sees Romulus,
he still hasn't seen Resurrection.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's not. Liam's not gonna like Resurrection.
Yeah, I reckon. Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman.
I reckon he'll like it better than. Actually, you know what? Fitzy has kind of got that thing where
schlocky kind of 90s horror.
And he just kind of enjoys the stupid vibe.
Yeah.
So I can see him maybe actually liking.
How do you feel on The Fifth Element? I can't remember.
Oh, he loved The Fifth Element. It's like his favourite movie of all time.
He'll like Resurrection then.
Yeah. So then why did I not like The Fifth Element but liked Resurrection?
Because you're dumb.
I mean, to be fair, saying I liked Resurrection's a bit strong. But
what did you give Resurrection a 4?
A 6.
Oh, really? Bullshit! You gave Resurrection a 6.
I thought it was decent.
That's crazy.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not jumping at the gun to rewatch it, but I'm like, I thought it was fine. I thought it had some cool moments. Liam says, I think it'll be Romulus when he sees Romulus. That's what I reckon.
Yeah.
Outside of that, and I'm trying not to just try and remember because, well, I can't anyway, but yeah, he was pretty mid on Aliens too, if I recall. So
I think so. But he does like Bill Paxton.
Yeah. I think he was more with me. Like you were the Alien 3 defender on that review.
Yeah, big time.
I don't think he was a fan of that. I think he was with me. But so I guess, I don't know, did he like...
He gave Aliens a 4, actually. He gave it lower than all of us.
Oh my God, nice.
Sorry to spoil, I'm looking at scores.
I can't even choose between what he'd say between Covenant and Prometheus. Let's have a look at the scores.
Well, he gave Alien 3 a 4 as well.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
Covenant, he gave a 7.
Yeah, Prometheus, he gave a 6. Okay, so he's
Covenant, yeah.
Okay, so he's with you there. Okay. But yeah, I reckon he'll see this film and it'll definitely be Covenant, I think. But yeah, that's interesting.
Romulus, yeah.
What did I say?
Covenant.
That's the sign we've been doing this too long. Okay. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, who is an actor that you would love to, and realistically could, cast in your first film? Now, realistically is a funny word. Any Joe Schmo like us couldn't realistically cast Joseph Quinn in the film we're seeing next week. But by realistically, hopefully you understand the spirit of it, in the sense that if we were to tomorrow decide to become amateur filmmakers, not even amateur filmmakers, if we were to tomorrow decide to make a feature film, and if we were to commit our life to hustling for it, making connections, we won the lottery and had a budget, who is someone we would actually realistically, with all the right circumstances, be able to cast in our first film? You know, obviously De Niro off the table, right?
Pitt,
I mean, actually, to be fair, if you
DiCaprio,
won the lottery,
you know.
yeah. If you want, maybe if you won the lottery and you want to put 50 mil of your budget towards him, then maybe. But outside, you understand.
If you won the lottery and you could put 50 mil towards fucking De Niro, like, dude, if you won more than that, dude, jeez.
God bless you, man. All right. Yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Jaden, what are we watching next week?
We're asking this question because next week we are watching a brand new 2023 film called Horde.
We're in the year 2024 now.
I know, but yeah, I just found it was
2023. Is it really?
Yeah, I was looking at.
That's highly disappointing.
Yeah,
that's highly disappointing.
But Australia's only getting it now, so fuck it. Yeah, here's what it is.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
To be fair, 2023 is only for 3 film festivals, so I mean, its theatrical release is 2024.
Yeah, but it's one of those things now where
on Letterboxd, yeah, you can't use it for end of year.
Oh god.
Yeah. Anyway, we're doing a Luna Cameron's Horde, which does star Joseph Quinn, indeed, and some other people.
And it's her first film.
Yeah, seems like she's got. Hold on, let's see if these are films or short films. Otherwise, we could have really fucked the question. All right,
the question's still good.
They're both short films. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so she would need to add feature first feet. No, we don't. It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, we get to watch this as part of MIF. With a Q&A with her pro-screening, so hopefully we have some cool insights next week for you. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
MIF is the abbreviation of the Melbourne International Film Festival.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It still sounds like a slur, and I'll probably say that again next week, but whatever. Is Andy, we've got to talk to him tomorrow if he's going to join us, I guess. Does he know he's invited? I don't know if he's expecting.
He'll find out.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll talk to him. Yeah. Or maybe he'll find out by listening now and I'll forget to ask him tomorrow. We'll see. Okay. That's it. I appreciate you for joining me, Jaden. As always, have a great rest of your week, everyone. And goodbye.